Hello, my name is Tom Anselm, and I'm going to be reading something to you, something I wrote about 2 months ago or so, and something that I've been thinking about for a long time. Um, Basically, it's called Who is Jesus to You? Before I get into this, please know I am a sinner, very imperfect, prone to weakness, just so that's established. Domini non sum dignus. Lord, I am not worthy. That should be my next tattoo. A fake tattoo, of course, because I don't like pain. But here's the real question I have been dealing with lately, and it is, who is Jesus to me? Many minds much greater than mine, much greater than mine, have been asking this question for centuries. St. Augustine, Martin Luther, St. Anselm even. I might be related, who knows? And so many more. Good old Paul of Tarsus thought Jesus was his archenemy. That is, until he was knocked off his pony and onto his Tarsus, more or less, and struck blind. Some of us may be in need of the same rough treatment in order to take a good look at this subject in light of our own blindness. But others of us have always known who this man from Galilee is to them. Most, I fear, ride somewhere along that continuum. So, this guy, Jesus. To some, he may be just the baby in the stable, helpless, poor, unknown, save to the few who visit him and to his parents, to the creatures to which he shares a space. But full of promise. Heck, the angels told us as much that glorious night. Maybe he's the 12-year-old wise guy kid who wows the learned scholars in the temple, the kid who just didn't think to tell Ma and Pa that he was staying over a few days in Jerusalem, so full of himself that he was unaware of their feelings of panic. A teenager, right? Mary, I thought you had him, said Joseph. Joseph, he always hangs with you. So, no. We've just lost the Son of God. Imagine how they felt. Yeah, 12 years old, the annoying preteen. You think they grounded him? Is that Jesus? Then we don't just hear about Jesus much in the scriptures until there's a family wedding where he shows up as Mary's plus one. Just another guest enjoying the goings on like any other Jewish man of the time. Reluctant to stand out, just a guy. And so I find it altogether lovely that the start of his public ministry comes at the behest of his mommy. His love for her is so great, his respect for the celebrants and the family and the bride and groom so strong, that he quietly acts, saving the day. And the cat is out of the bag now. The curtain has risen, the opening whistle has just blown. With a few of the guys he's already recruited, now comes the time for the next 3 years of travel and challenge and sleeping on the ground and gathering more of his posse and getting hailed and hassled and threatened and beaten. And, well, you know how this story ends. Think of the courage it took for him to say yes to Mary. From now on, he is called Master, Rabbi, Teacher, Lord, Messiah. A brief aside here, much has been written and speculated upon as to the physical appearance of Jesus. Thousands and thousands of paintings and portraits done, all without the subject present. No real eyewitness accounts. Just, well, just conjecture. But here is how I see him when I pray to the second person of that holy trio. A strong man, taller than most, in the prime of his life, sinewy arms, strong hands, calloused from his carpenter days, longish dark hair, probably wavy, weathered skin, olive in hue, deep brown eyes, a medium full beard, as was the custom, dark in color. Maybe at this point, a fleck of gray here and there. Standard issue garb, sturdy sandals, homespun tunic, carrying a sheepskin shoulder bag containing all his worldly possessions. You could say he was unhoused. You could say he was homeless, an itinerant, but he had the look and appearance of that itinerant preacher. And yet, something very much more. Always something more. Was Jesus a complicated man? What else could be, knowing he was God sent? He had to be confident, knowing what he could do. He had to be scared, as his human side would lend him, knowing what was at the end of this remarkable journey. He started out on his own, then reaching out to others, gathering his closest friends, and so many followers, but always, ultimately, alone. He had to be at once ingratiating, mysterious, commanding, gentle, loving, kind, humble, full of fury, honest, and forgiving. Wow, talk about complicated. And this guy was about to challenge not only the local powers that be, but the most powerful worldwide force known at that time, the Romans. All with just a bunch of fishermen, a tax collector, various and sundry other guys, all seeking something incredible that this guy has offered: eternal salvation, eternal life. Talk about pressure. Hmm? Jesus is also the guy who could fall asleep just about anywhere, lying on a boat in a raging storm. The guy who freak out with frustration like in the temple when he routed the money changers. The guy who could not only calm those roiling waters, but then later walk on top of them. And wow, what a fisherman. Whew. 153 big ones with just a simple wave of his hand. Oh, and did I mention the guy who suffered terribly and died for your and my salvation? But he is more, always more, always more. I know Jesus as the Son of God, Christ the King, King of heaven and earth, King of kings. Of course, that's what we're told. I see him as the man described above, full of weaknesses and strengths that any human being can possess. But I feel in my heart and soul that he is my friend, a guy who knows what I'm going through in my daily walk. My hope, my guide, who said, there is nothing that I can do, for which his forgiveness would not be given. He is the guy who said, this is my body, this is my blood. And he said, whoever believes in me will have eternal life. I, for one, am taking him at his word. And this is my Jesus. So therefore, again, I ask, who is Jesus?